We are here at Wembley Way. It's a bit nippy, got our coffee, it's a bit cold, but there is a special game happening this weekend, a massive game, the Carabao Cup finals. This is the game day preview, but a special one, of course. I mean, both our teams are out in the semi-final.
I don't know what we expected as if we were going to be in the final.
I mean, I expected it. But listen, two of the best, I might as well say the best teams in the Premier League at the moment, face each other right here this weekend. It's Liverpool taking on Chelsea. Should we find somewhere comfortable?
Yes, please.
Get into the games.
Right, so before we get into the big game of the weekend, there are a few other small matters, such
They're
as
not small.
the Premier League games.
These are massive games, you know.
They are really
to play
big,
for.
coming up this weekend. So let's start with Arsenal, take on Wolves. Actually, it's not the weekend, it's on Thursday.
Yeah, midweek.
Those midweek games, they really catch you up. Arsenal have lost just one of their last 10 home league games against Wolves, winning 5, drawing 4. But that actual loss did come last season.
Yeah.
So, Wolves have been great.
They've been okay.
I think they've been great.
Yeah.
Look at where they are in the table.
I feel like their manager's massively underrated.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really agree, especially how they started the season, like pretty poor. I think it was 4 losses in their first opening games. And to turn it around, there's talk about them being, in contention for maybe a European spot, maybe a top 4 place, something like that. It's very close, that side of the table and that little area. Arsenal as well, fighting for that 4th spot. You haven't played that much recently. Do you think that's going to maybe benefit you going into this one?
Yeah, there's always a positive to take from it. I mean, the fact that there's lack of other games like there would be in other seasons with, Europa League or when there was Champions League, and the fact that we're not in the Carabao Cup final, there's less games, and so that gives the players a lot more chance to re-energise, recruit, focus on the next game, and they got the win against Brentford. So every win is so important now for Arsenal and for Wolves, for any team trying to get that top 4 spot. So it's a massive game for both teams. So it'll be so interesting how it plays out on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think this is like one where it's very evenly matched. Couldn't really call it either way, but I think that it's definitely going to be key. I think whoever kind of wins this one is really like showing their intent of where they're going with this top 4 battle.
Yeah.
Both equally important to both sides.
I think more people will expect Arsenal to win this game.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of fans, from what I see on social media, are just underestimating what Wolves can do. Like I said, Bruno Lage has been phenomenal for them. And they've got so much quality in their team, Wolves. They can catch Arsenal out and other teams out. So I think Arteta's men need to be very careful. I mean, the young boys are doing their job. Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Pepe looks bright when he came on for a few minutes, but it's going to be so tricky.
All right, how do you see this one going then? I'm assuming you're going to sway to an Arsenal.
I mean, I would hope and dream and love an Arsenal win. I'm going to be there back in the team. I would really want to be having it, even though it's going to be tough, I'd want a convincing win for Arsenal. Okay. So it's going to be difficult keeping a clean sheet, because what they have going forward. And we just played them obviously recently, when Arsenal got that win, and you said, what did you say, like how Arsenal's celebrating like that shows how big we are.
And I love celebration.
Do you know what? I love that you said that, because I said the same thing about City when City played Arsenal on the first day of the year, and the way City was celebrating like they won the league, which is very likely they still could do. It's like, we must be massive that you're celebrating like that. So I love that you said it, but I think we just need to do it again now. Whether it's 1-0, 3-0, 2, whatever it is, Arsenal needs to get that win.
Okay, I think this is going to be a draw. I think this is a 2-2 for me.
Goals.
I think there's always kind of goals in a Wolves game. I mean, I know Spurs played them a few weeks ago, and they couldn't get anything past them. But you see how quickly Wolves come out the blocks. We saw it again. They had Leicester the other day, didn't they? And the same there. They're very quick out the blocks, and they go for your defenders. They really do. But I can see Arsenal being in this. I think a draw is probably where I'd hang my hat at this point. Okay, so moving on to Southampton versus Norwich. The last time they played actually was Dean Smith's first game for Norwich. We saw Norwich get a goal the other day, didn't they, against Liverpool?
Do you know what I thought? I was thinking, wow, this is an interesting start for their game. Could they actually do it? But it's Liverpool. It's Liverpool.
It's Liverpool.
Let's not forget.
The last time Norwich did the double over Southampton was in 2007-2008, having won just one of their first 8 Premier League games, played on a Friday. This is a really interesting stat. Southampton have now won 3 of their last 4, played on a Friday, including a 3-0 win against Norwich back in June 2020. Ralph Hasenhüttl. There's always a lot of talk about him. I've seen quite a lot of talk about him maybe being linked with the United job.
I've seen that.
Do we think that Ralph is cracked up to be what they're making him to be?
He's a good manager, man. He's a very good manager.
Would you want him at Arsenal, hypothetically?
No.
If he's that
I
good
haven't
of a
had time to
manager?
think about that, but no, it's not someone that would pop into my top 3 of managers I would want in the future for Arsenal, but he is a credible manager. It's just unfortunate the team are just not pulling out the results consistently enough.
Yeah.
Southampton just not.
But do you think that's because of...
They're selling the best players.
They sell their best players. They've got some good young players in their squad, Livramento being one, Che Adams. But I think you're right, it's the fact that they're always selling. So it's very hard to kind of build a team if you consistently sell your best players. Do you think that's hindered Ralph Hasenhüttl?
Massively. I feel like if they had a structure in place where they could build a team, you would see a different Ralph. I mean, wasn't it Southampton that got... I think it was a Friday night as well, that massive 9-0 loss. Yeah. I'm sure it was a Friday. It felt like a Friday.
Sure
I watched
it twice.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not even talk about that. I'm sure they'll get the win against Norwich, though.
Yeah.
I expect them to.
Norwich, have you seen anything since Dean Smith's come in to maybe make you think that they're going to...
I've seen they've got fire up the bottom. They look like they're giving it their all. But it's just...
Not enough?
It's not going to get them out of the danger zone.
So we think they're going down for sure.
I mean, we've been saying that since game week 2, I think.
I think before we even kicked ball this season.
Sorry, Norwich. Sorry, man.
All right, what's your score prediction for this one then?
I'm going to go 2-0 Southampton. 2-0
Southampton. Okay, I will go 3-1 Southampton on this. I back Norwich.
Imagine Norwich win. It'll be good. It'll be great.
That would be great. I love it when the results actually go completely against what we think. Right, Leeds taking on Tottenham. Leeds have won just one of their last 8 Premier League games against Tottenham. It did actually come in last season's fixture though.
Leeds were good last season.
They were, but they're a different outfit this time. They really are. Spurs have won just 2 of their last 13 Premier League away games against Leeds, and we are going back quite a long time. Last victory was in May 1996 and January 2004. So we're going back a really long time on those stats. Let's dug them out. Spurs obviously have had that massive win against Manchester City. We're going to see what they manage to do in the Burnley game later tonight, which we can't predict at this moment in time.
Yeah. For sure, it's right to make assessment for the club. I'm too honest to close my eyes and to continue in this way.
Well. Abbi and Spurs were definitely not expecting that. Burnley securing the 3 points. An Antonio Conte breakdown already. It'll be interesting to see how Spurs react to this on the weekend. Very interesting.
But looking at that Leeds game, where do we think we sit? Because we saw Leeds kind of fight back against United.
Yeah.
And for a period, it kind of looked like they were, maybe going to get something out of that game. Do you just think that with the injuries that they've had, it's just too much for them?
Of course. It's been too much for them for a while now, since last year. Since we were speaking about them in that second part, I say that I separate the season into 3 parts. In that second part of the season, just before Christmas as well, it's just they haven't got enough in their team at the moment, and the injuries haven't helped. Missing key players hasn't helped. But in saying that, they do have players on the pitch that can always score for them. I can always back and hope for Rafinha. Yeah. But is that enough for them to just look at 1 or 2 key players? It's not going to be enough. They will do enough to stay up, of course.
Yeah.
And that's about it. What more can they?
Because at one point we were talking about Leeds maybe being dragged into their relegation battle, but we still think they've got enough to kind of stay out of that, don't we?
Yeah.
And from a Spurs perspective, again, it wasn't a very good start to the year. Quite a few losses. I know they had that really late win against Leicester, pulled it out of the bag against Manchester City, and were fantastic. And credit to Antonio Conte and Spurs. But they're just so inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not the only ones that. Out of the teams that are battling for the top 4, all of them have the inconsistencies. Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham. So you can't put it too much on Conte and Tottenham. So it's all down to what everyone else does around them.
Yeah.
They're still in with a chance to get European football and Champions League football. So it all depends on how consistent they can stay for the remainder of the season. I mean, Harry Kane took a while to warm up. Now he's firing goals, so it could all change for Tottenham.
It could. What is the prediction for that game?
I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs. I think it might be a draw. I'll go 1-0 Spurs.
Okay.
Somebody's telling me 1-1, but I think 1-0 Spurs.
Okay, I never backed Spurs to keep a clean sheet ever, so I will go with a 2-1 Spurs. Right, Brentford against Newcastle. It's the first time Brentford have hosted Newcastle in a top flight match.
Oh yeah.
All 4 have been in the Championship.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
I know, because it's so weird. I always forget that Newcastle were kind of one of those sides that flip-flopped a little bit. Brentford won the first 2. I mean, 1935 and 1948. I love when these stats are such a throwback. It's so good. Newcastle have won their most recent meetings in 1992 and 2017. Newcastle are unbeaten in their last 5 meetings with Brentford though. 15 goals scored across 5 games, stretching all the way back to 1992. It's a little bit
windy.
windy. We've seen Newcastle do some serious business in January, kind of turning their luck around a little bit, aren't they? I know that's a
Trippier's been great for them.
He has, but obviously he's going to be out now for a really long time with that long-term injury.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. Brentford signing Christian Eriksen, a really good signing for them. Hopefully he'll be back on the pitch.
I think this will be his first
going.
game, from what the manager said.
Yeah.
This may be his very first game that we'll see Christian come out.
And what a signing that is for Brentford. What a signing. Because that really could be the difference, in where they finish in that table.
Yeah.
And, hopefully if they stay up as well.
I mean, I don't think there should be pressure on him to get back to his best straight away.
Yeah.
But imagine if he does and he's already, making the plays, scoring goals.
Because we all know what Christian Eriksen can do.
Yeah.
In terms of Newcastle, as we said, they've been on a very good kind of run actually since the turn of the year. They look kind of as if they're going to get themselves out of trouble, which we thought that they might do.
I know, we all said Newcastle, Norwich, they're going down. But you know what, Newcastle are out of the danger zone at the moment.
Yes.
And they could possibly stay out.
I think that it could actually happen. It was one of those things where we thought maybe with the takeover, maybe it would happen if they spent well and did the business in January.
I think they had a good January window.
Yeah, they really did. Okay, prediction for this one.
Oh, I know I just said Newcastle could stay out of the danger zone, but I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle on this one, just to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Brighton take on Aston Villa. Brighton are winless in their last 5 home league games against Aston Villa. The last 4 of these meetings, though, has ended level in the Premier League anyway. Following a 2-0 win in November in Steven Gerrard's first game in charge, Villa are looking to complete the league double over Brighton for the first time since 1981-82. Another old school stat. Brighton, again, they lost though, didn't they, last weekend? Villa also lost. But Brighton, I mean, at home, got battered really by Burnley in a 3-0 scoreline.
That was such a huge shock from the weekend. I remember getting notifications on my phone and I was like, what, is this correct?
That right?
'Cause sometimes you get a bit of error, the apps, they mess up a bit and it was not an error. No disrespect to Burnley, but they are, second to bottom in the league at the moment?
I think they might be bottom.
And, no, Norwich.
I don't know they
I think they're just above Norwich.
Okay,
and,
I'll take your word for it.
And so you just don't expect that. And for a team such as Brighton and how they've played, even though they've been inconsistent at most parts, the team that they have been throughout this season, where if they're not losing or at least getting a draw, you just don't expect them to lose 3-0 to Burnley. So it's going to be very hard to predict what will happen in this game, especially with Steven Gerrard's doing pretty well with Aston Villa.
Yeah, he is, but they did have that kind of shock loss to Watford as well the other day. That was one I don't think that any of us would have really predicted, especially how good Villa have been since Gerrard's come in. With all that in mind, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go for Villa on this one. I haven't predicted any draws yet, but I'm going to go Villa.
Okay.
What are you saying?
I'm going to back Brighton.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton for that one. I just feel like they'll have to bounce back. They can't have 2 home losses like that on
they
the bounce.
Can't, but they can.
They can. You are correct. They can. But I don't reckon they are. Okay, Crystal Palace taking on Burnley. 4 straight Premier League victories against Burnley, stretching from January 2018 to November 2019. But that was for Crystal Palace. But now it's actually the other way around. Palace haven't won in their last 4 against Burnley. Burnley obviously coming off of that win we just discussed against Brighton. That's a massive confidence booster. Away from home, 3-0. They made their reinforcements in January. Wout Weghorst, big old 6'6" striker. I know you're probably going to back Palace, aren't you? Yeah,
I just feel like they're a different team right now. They've got massive amounts of talent, especially going forward. I just expect, even though you just never know what to predict with them, they can score goals and then the defence lets them down at some parts. But I can always back them to score. They've got too much talent to not at least score 1 goal in their game. And coming up against a team like Burnley, they're so hard to break down. But I think I have to back Palace this season in this fixture. I just have to.
Okay.
I just have to.
I'm not opposed to it. I kind of agree with you. I just think that Burnley have got quite a lot of games in hand as well.
Yeah, true.
I think maybe that reinforcement could help them in terms of coming out of that bottom 3. I mean, I think I actually did put them to go down, and I had a lot of people say to me, "Why are you just so anti-Burnley?" But I think I could have been onto something. But I'm
still got a little while to go.
Still got a little while to go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you as well. Yeah. Oh. No, I'm gonna match you. But what's your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 Palace. 2-1
Palace. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make this a tight game. I'm going to call it like a 1-0. A 1-0 Palace, but like late.
I feel like there'll be like a penalty in this game.
Late on.
It's going to be mad physical.
Yeah, very physical. Right, Manchester United taking on Watford. United have never lost a home league game against Watford.
Wow.
No side have they faced more at home in their league history without suffering a defeat. So they've obviously got a very, very good record against them. But Watford did beat them last time. I think that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game, wasn't it? And that was, what was it, like a 4? I think it was like a 4-2 or a 4-1.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Demolition of them. That was a good game. I remember watching that actually on
DL Sports.
on DL Sports on the Saturday show. But they're looking to complete their first ever double over Manchester United. Watford are. United won the other day against Leeds.
Yeah.
Again, I still didn't think they looked particularly good, in my humble opinion. They're still somehow sitting in that 4th spot.
They are. I mean, you win certain games, you collect the 3 points, you climb up the table. The fact that they've lost certain games in the manner that they have, everyone's really just pushing Man United to the side, and some could say sleeping on them, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Sancho, all these players, Varane in defence. Do you know what I mean? You've got De Gea, you've got these players, star-studded players, Pogba coming back into the mixture as well. And you look at that team and you think, you cannot lose to Everton, you cannot lose to this team.
Yeah.
And they have. And that's why people think they stand no chance in the top 4. But if they carry on just collecting these 3 points here and there, which they did against Leeds, which I'm sure they can do against Watford, you said that yourself, they got the record, and I'm sure they will continue that record. You can't sleep on Man United. That's why they're in the 4th spot.
Do you think it's just a case of that, everyone else in that top 4 race is so inconsistent, as we touched on earlier, that it just kind of leaves United just to sit there
so
and
wide open.
Just kind of pick up points and just coast along until they get knocked off of it, or if they do get knocked off of it.
They're going to try not to, and they want to win every single game as much as everyone else does.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they have the quality to do it. They're the team that spent all this money and you expect them to win it.
Yeah.
So now they've got to match those expectations on the pitch, and I'm sure they can.
Yeah.
There's been so much talk about them in the media.
Constant.
I mean, Bruno Fernandes was talking about it recently, like, these journalists talk about us because they know it's going to get them clicks and all this stuff, and it happens. I get it. And I don't know if they're trying to throw the players off track. I don't know what the reason is. But these players have got too much experience.
The United bus at the moment.
Yeah, they've got too much experience and too much quality to let top four slip. But as an Arsenal fan, I hope they do let it slip.
As a Spurs fan, I hope they let it slip as well. I think we've got them coming up in a few weeks. Okay, what's your prediction for this game?
I'm going to go Manchester United 3, Watford 2. I think they'll still let in goals.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go... I'm actually just going to go rogue and do this as a draw.
I was going to say like 4-1 or something.
No, I'm not going to go as mental as that. But I feel like this, I think you're right. I think that there will be goals. I think United defensively are not fantastic.
No.
I think that the later on they get in games, I think the more tired you see them get. Yeah. I know that obviously Ralph's done that, that little stroke of brilliance, some would say. Fred and Elanga coming on the other day. All of Twitter meanwhile in uproar. Why is he taking, Ronaldo off? What's he doing that for? But actually, it was the right decision. Yeah. I'm going to do this as a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1.
Are we boring?
It will be boring. It will be boring. And I'm probably going to be wrong, but I feel like I need to just do an outside bet on that.
Go on.
Everton taking on Manchester City. Everton have won just one of their last 17 Premier League games against Manchester City. That was back that was back in 2017. So that feels ages ago, doesn't it?
I know, but Man City have been basically giants since then, to be fair.
So at least they got the win at some point.
Yeah.
City though, I mean, they're coming off the back of that loss to Spurs. I'd like to say they were actually outplayed for the majority of that game.
I was surprised.
Despite what possession would tell you, I think that they really were dominated in that game by Spurs. Surely it was just a blip though.
I don't know. These games, I feel like somehow, so I was going to say the manager, but Conte's brand new to this. The last time that Spurs did beat City this season, it was under Nuno. So it's like, I was going to say the manager just knows how to play against Pep. But maybe Conte knows how to play against Pep, because it was strange. It wasn't, I don't feel like this was a blip. It was a very convincing win from Spurs, and they could have had more goals in that game. So it's a strange one. I'm sure Pep is massively frustrated because now that's opened up the title race for Liverpool to potentially catch up. But they've got that game in hand, they've got to play each other, all of that. So interesting. The only reason I'll say it's a blip because I don't think they'll lose again this season.
Okay. Oh, you're backing them to not lose again this season.
And if they do lose again, it could only be against Liverpool.
Okay.
But when them two face each other, you can never call it.
Yeah, you can never call it. It's such a wide open game. Everton, Frank Lampard, are you liking what you're seeing with him? Obviously, Donny van de Beek's come in, Dele Alli.
Yeah, good signings. I haven't really paid attention to. I see the results. It's not nothing that's game changing. I haven't seen the change that he's put in yet, but they won a game. Since he's come in, so. It looks so good so far, but nothing to write home about yet. It's too soon.
Yeah, too soon to tell. All right, prediction for this game?
Man City 3, Everton 1.
Very specific.
Yeah,
I like
just
it.
expect Man City
You
to...
said that with
No,
real,
do you know
like,
why? Because I feel
conviction.
like after losing to Spurs, they have to come out with a vengeance and show everyone we're not a joke. Don't let that unsettle you.
I think that's a good scoreline prediction, but I like to mix it up from yours. I'll go Manchester City 4.
No, just another
Everton
goal.
won, yeah,
Just another goal.
Everton
Who's getting? Is it a hat trick? Is Bernardo Silva getting a hat trick? I mean, he almost did in Champions League a couple weeks ago.
There'll be a plethora of people.
Sterling,
a plethora. Yeah, I think
Foden,
I can see a Sterling.
Mahrez.
I can see a Sterling on that. Our final game, Premier League game, that is. West Ham taking on Wolves.
Wolves again. Twice in 1
Wolves
week.
got busy week.
Good luck to them.
They were, honestly, that's another thing, keeping up with the top 4 race. There's so many games in such a short space
and then
of
they're
time.
having to face 2 teams that are competing for that same spot, so it's going to be a tough week.
Very big week for Wolves, actually, when you look at it. West Ham won this exact fixture last season, 4-0 they won it last year, having lost 3 of their last 4 home league games against Wolves before that. They're looking to secure back-to-back home league wins against them for the first time since October 2004. Wolves, as we mentioned, I think that, however they fare against Arsenal is going to be quite telling as maybe looking into this game. But West Ham, have you seen much of them, since the turn of the year to kind of tell you where they're at in their top 4?
It's hard to tell because they are one of the teams that I was convinced, and everyone laughs at me for saying it, but it's like when everyone mentions this top 4 race, I keep saying West Ham they are the team that out of everyone has looked more consistent to me.
Yeah.
So how I've looked at it, they've looked more consistent than Arsenal, they've looked more consistent than United, and they've looked more consistent than Tottenham with the way they've been playing and the results that they've been getting. But now it's slowly starting to fade away.
Yeah.
They're going to have those European fixtures as well, and this could be the moment where we see them just
drift off.
Yeah, it all depends on this fixture as well.
I think that's what I've kind of said it the whole way along. Like, you have to give credit where it's due for West Ham, what they've been doing consistently, being up there and competing. But I always did have in the back of my mind exactly that when we get to this like nitty gritty bit of the season, European
have
football,
they got it in them?
What are they going to turn their attention to more? Is it going to be the Europa League, or is it going to be trying to get a top 4 place? Because if you put all your efforts into the Europa League, there's every chance you could go on and win that. And I would actually think that West Ham would have quite a
massive title for them.
a good shot at them winning that, actually. So it is an interesting one. How do we see this one going then?
Because wait, let me get this straight. Sorry.
Get it straight.
I need to confirm this. If you win the Europa League, you qualify for Champions League next season, right?
Correct.
That's the other way of getting into.
Exactly.
So then maybe they just focus on that.
Okay, let me just say this. If it was Arsenal and you're in the Europa League...
Don't compare us.
I'm just asking you your question.
Yeah.
Would you prefer, at this stage of the season, for Arsenal to put all their efforts into going down the Europa League route, or put their efforts into top 4?
I mean, we had this exact same thing last season when we got further and further into the Europa League and then we messed it up towards the final stages. And I was coming towards the end of the season, we was drifting off in the Premier League, and I was like, let's focus on Europa League. It was divided, but I was one of those fans who said, let's focus on that Europa League because that's still a route into Champions League. And the fixtures that are remaining, it was United as well that was in that, Villarreal. It wasn't that difficult, but we couldn't do the job.
So what would you
difficult.
prefer if you were a West Ham fan?
I don't know, I can't speak for them, but maybe I would assume a trophy and getting into Champions League. I don't know, it sounds good, a trophy, you get to lift a trophy, you get a parade, I guess, and you get Champions League football.
And you get the parade. That's
top
what
4, you win nothing, you just get Champions League football.
Well, I mean, you guys did make the trophy for top 4.
Stop it.
But anyway,
Stop
right,
that.
give me your prediction,
Have you got any
please.
trophies?
Yeah, we actually, that one for doing the double over City. Yeah. Nibble on that, don't nibble for me. Go for it, give me your prediction, please.
Can't call it, I think it's a draw. 1-1.
1-1,
Yeah.
okay. I think that's quite a good bet, actually. I will go, well, I can't give another 2-2 because I backed them to do you lot 2-2. So
As long as they're dropping points, I don't mind.
I'm going to go 1-1 as well. I'm going to go 1-1 as well on that one.
Nice.
Solid bet. So it is about time we got into the biggest game of the weekend, that Carabao Cup tie, Liverpool versus Chelsea right here.
The final.
The beautiful Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm going to be having a chat to Doyle, talking about all things coming up this weekend for Liverpool and what he thinks is going to happen.
I bet he's going to be super excited for this one.
I'm sure he
I'm
is.
going to meet up with Lewis, just Chelsea fan, and I'm sure he'll be buzzing off the back of what Chelsea will be doing this season. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
See this, lad, yeah? The grand Wembley Stadium. Liverpool's training ground on Sunday, lad. You watch, lads. Up the Reds.
Okay, so ahead of that massive game,
Very big.
Liverpool-Chelsea this weekend, Carabao Cup final. Talk to me. How do you feel about that?
I am excited. I feel like Klopp has never really taken these domestic cups seriously, and it's been something that's been knocked them down essentially compared to City. So yeah, I want to win this cup. This is a big one. Chelsea and Liverpool has been a big rivalry this season. None of us have come out on top. We're beating them in the league at the moment, but head to head, 2 draws. This is the ultimate game now to see who's better team. I'm going to say Liverpool, of course I am, but I'm still worried about Chelsea. They're a good football side. Tuchel's a good manager. He's won a cup already before. He knows what he's doing. But I'm excited for this. I want this.
Yeah.
This is a chance for us, right, to kick on, get an early cup like City have done in the past, and go on to winning ways for the next 3 fronts that we've got.
That was literally what I was just about to say to you. So, you know, Pep Guardiola and City have always taken this cup quite seriously, in the sense that it's kind of springboard you for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Klopp hasn't always taken Carabao Cup serious. You said you really want it. Do you think this is a trophy that Jurgen Klopp really wants now? Because we mentioned before off camera about how close actually in the title race Liverpool and City are, especially with that shock win last
Very
week,
close now.
you know, for Spurs in that game with City.
Thank you, by the way.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Sometimes we show up.
Nice one, Kane lad.
So now obviously that gap has closed a little bit, and winning this cup could really be what propels you to maybe have that bit of extra steam going into the rest of the season.
See, like, a lot of people have said that he's not taking them seriously, and I don't think he has, but the reason being is we haven't had the depth. We haven't had that depth that City have had, and now we do. We've bought Luis Diaz, Thiago's fit, the rest of the players are fit, except for Bobby and Diogo at the moment, but we've still got a strong front three. And now, because we've got this depth, you see us competing on all 4 sides. We are in every single competition in this league, at the moment. We've got the league, we've got the FA Cup, we've got the League Cup, and we've got the Champions League, which we haven't lost in, by the way. So I feel like he's looking at this depth that he's got now, and he's able to use it to his advantage. Something that City's had an advantage over us for years and years, but now we're catching up, and we're dangerous. We're very, very dangerous.
Very dangerous, very, very dangerous, as you said, Doyle.
So Lewis, we're here in just a few days' time, taking on Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Luckily it's not Arsenal, because maybe you put that Wembley curse to bed.
Yeah, I heard you lot were ducking the Chelsea challenge, but it's cool.
Fair enough. Nice shot there. How are you feeling about this one? Liverpool have been a tough team to beat this season in the league. Top quality players.
Oh, definitely. Like, Liverpool isn't going to be easy by any shot, but Chelsea have been a cup team, and we've been a cup team since Tuchel's joined us. Every competition we've been in, we've made it to the final. Haven't won every single one. We struggled in the FA Cup final against Leicester last time, but even in spite of our not inspiring performances over the last few months, we still have barely lost. We've only lost 2 in our last 30 games, which I didn't even know until yesterday. So whether we go in and we play well or we go in and we play badly, I still can be confident that we can get a result, because we've always shown that regardless, we're resilient enough to go and take 3 points or even take a trophy out of it.
Other than Tuchel, who gives you that main bit of confidence? Like, which player is going to win it for Chelsea, or who's the players that can really get a performance out?
Honestly, like, I'd say the defence in general, but it has to be Thiago Silva. Makes the game look so easy.
He's been getting a lot of plaudits recently as well.
Yeah, and it's well deserved, because he's usually flown under the radar, but it's just because of how simple he makes his job. His positioning is always in the right place. All he does is just release possession straight out, and then we start a counter-attack straight off. And that's the calming presence that you need in your back line. But you get it through all 3 of them, to be honest. And that's what's been our strength defensively. Offensively, like, we know the problems with Chelsea. Like, our finishing is ridiculous when it's at its best.
Yeah.
But defensively, I can trust this team, and it's why not even just Liverpool, lots of teams have struggled to break us down. I think in the top 5 leagues, we've conceded the least goals in open play. So our only real issue is going to be set pieces going into this game. But in the course of 90 minutes, I've got no reason not to be confident.
Who in that Chelsea side worries you the most?
I mean, I'm scared of all the players. They're all good football players, but you've got to look at Lukaku, haven't you? That's their main man. That's who they play through. That's who they bought for how much millions, hundreds of millions. So you're looking at him, and he's a goal scorer. He knows how to play football. He's not a bad footballer at all. So I'd go with Lukaku. And also, Havertz is that player that just turns up in cup finals. He scores goals. He just does it every single time. Didn't he win the World Cup for them? He won the Champions League for them. So I'll say Havertz as well. But if Virgil and Matip and the boys are on form, I think we can do this.
You're not worried about it at all?
We've been flying. We really have. Liverpool have been fantastic. We've responded really well from our poor form in December. And we've just been rolling on. And I think City has seen this, Chelsea has seen this, and you've seen Chelsea just dropping us off a little bit. So ready for this, you know. I'm so ready for this, Abbi. I'm so ready.
Okay, so is there any part of you that thinks that, you know, if Liverpool don't win this, maybe, you know, the impact that could have on the squad?
There is. The players that we have, Mo Salah, Mane, they're winning. They want to win, and they won't like losing, especially Salah losing the AFCON recently as well. He'll be going into this with a proper hunger.
Yeah.
So I am worried about the knock-on effect. But again, I'm not thinking in negative terms, you know, I'm really not. I'm looking at this game like Liverpool can win this. This is going to be our springboard to win the league, to win the Champions League, to win the FA Cup, whatever it is. I really believe we can do something mad this season, you know. I think we got writ off at the start of the season. You looked at Man U, you looked at Chelsea and City, and everyone said Liverpool are not going to compete because they haven't bought this, they haven't done that. But the reality was, last season, we were riddled with injuries and just bad fortune. This season, our full-strength team's here, and people are scared of us. When you speak to Lewis later, or when Pippa speaks to Lewis later, I guarantee you won't be as confident as I am. Because
have you met Lewis? Lewis is always very confident.
And Lewis have got a very, very lovely rivalry going on, and actually it's been very fun. We're very close in the league, and it's been like that for like the whole season so far, and me and him have bounced off each other, so I'm looking forward to Sunday with him. Like,
that will be a really, really good thing to watch.
Yeah, it will.
We cannot disregard the fact in the week, Champions League, 2 injury crises there, 2 key players, Kovacic.
Yep.
And who was the other player?
Ziyech,
of course, yeah. Those are 2 key players that have, you know, been on form, been important for you this season.
Yeah, and like, let's be real, injuries have been a big problem for us this season. It's been one of the main reasons why we've slowly faltered out at the title race, but we've still coped in spite of it. Again, 2 losses in 32 games. Like, we've coped well, and our system is always there to protect the team as well. Yeah, does it come at the disadvantage of our attacking play? It might do. There might be a debate for it. But there's always the saying, goals win you games, defence wins you titles. And that's the reason why our defence has been so solid and why we've still stayed in.
Do win you games though, and Liverpool are not short of goals. And they've got a front 3. I mean, you could even say more than a front 3 that can, now they've added Diaz in there as well, that can score goals. So, I mean, I could probably name who would be the player that could win it for Liverpool, or the player that you're most worried about. But who is the Liverpool player that you're worried about?
Has to be Salah. Has to be. Scored in both games against us this season. Has probably been, if not his best season, his second best season in Liverpool. He's been ridiculous, and he's added more levels to his game too. So he's definitely going to be the one to worry about, especially because he's going to be dealing with Alonso on the left for 90 minutes. I know it's going to be suffering on that side, but I'm not worried because of how strong our back 3 is, how strong Mendy is, and how strong we are as a defensive system. Like, we've faced so many good attacking units, and we've kept the majority of them quiet. So. Am I worried about Salah? Yes. Am I worried about Liverpool's attack? Yes. But I'm not as worried just because of the team that we have and everything that we've done over the last year. Champions League winners, 2021
I mean, I was just going to say, I was noticing the shirt there, and I'm like, which one is that? You've got the Club World Cup on there already.
All right, so give me your prediction then. What is your realistic prediction for this game?
So when you look at the last game that we played, right, we were at Stamford Bridge. For the first 40 minutes, we blew Chelsea out the water. We really did, until Kovacic scored a screamer. But you know what? That's not happening this time. There's no one that's going to save them with a glory goal. It's just going to be Liverpool winning. So I genuinely believe this. I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to Liverpool, 3-1.
I love your confidence so much. You mentioned a goal there for Chelsea. Then who's scoring the goal for Chelsea?
Probably Havertz or Lukaku. One of them 2. They're good footballers. I can't deny that Chelsea is a good football team, but Liverpool at the moment, we're just grinding it out and we're winning.
I want that confidence. I wish I could say the same about my own team.
It's Mo Salah and the boys. They just instilled it in me. Virgil van Dijk, Jurgen Klopp. Love yous all, lads.
I mean, you mentioned Mo Salah. How long left will Mo Salah even be at Liverpool?
Please don't say that, Abbi.
Just saying, just
Abbi,
now there.
If he wants anything, right, I get every Liverpool fan would literally pay out of their own pocket for him to stay.
You might have to
start. Because we love him. We love him and he loves us.
You might have to start.
Listen, if he doesn't stay at us, I don't know what our owners are doing, because he's the best player in the world at the moment and there's no reason why he shouldn't. Whatever money Mo Salah wants, here's the piece of paper, lad, write it down, we'll give you it. That's what Jurgen Klopp should be saying to them owners, because he's fantastic.
The Bank of Doyle has spoken.
I'll give it, lad, if I had it, you'd be taking all my dough, lad.
I know that feeling. I probably would have done the same for Kane. Okay, so it's a Liverpool win. No doubt in Doyle's mind. We'll have to see what Lewis says about that.
It's been a whirlwind of a year for Chelsea fans, winning pretty much everything. Can you win this though? Can you win this on your home turf in England, of course, at Wembley?
Definitely. There's no reason why not. So Liverpool will say the same thing as well, but our only issue is our recent history at Wembley hasn't been good. Liverpool, if I remember correctly, I think they've won here once. Maybe twice? No, twice. They've won here twice. We've only won 2 out of our last 7. So yeah, our recent history isn't all that bad here, but we know what it takes to win trophies. We know exactly what Chelsea are about. They are trophy haulers. No one's won more trophies than Chelsea since 2000. It's in our nature to win these things. So there's no reason to think it won't be the same again on Sunday.
This is super confidence coming out here.
That's just belief in my team. Confidence is we're going to smash Liverpool 5-0 or something. I don't think it's going to be that. But
what do you think it will be?
1-0. Could see a Jorginho penalty or something. Like, it could be a tight game for all that we know. But there's no reason for me to believe that Chelsea aren't going to be the team to break the deadlock, because we're the kings of tight results. That's all that we are. We don't really score a lot, but we don't concede a lot either. But there's also goals all around the squad. Our only problem is we don't have a prolific goal scorer. We don't have anyone responsible solely for bringing the goals to our club. It's just someone pops in at the end. I don't know who it's going to be, but someone's going to be the hero for us on the day.
Someone. Well, we'll find out on Sunday.
So that is a wrap, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed Game Day Preview Carabao Cup special with myself and Pippa. Are you going to be watching it on Sunday?
Of course.
Where are you going to be watching it?
I might come, you know.
Really?
If I can get a ticket, I might be here.
Okay, so Pippa might be here, but for everyone else, make sure you tune in. So, of course, DR Sports, where we're going to be doing the watch along, 4:30 kickoff. So we expect to see you all there, unless you're Pippa and going to the game.
Sunday, 4:30. Carabao Cup final. On one side, the 2021 Club of the Year, your European champions, and your new world champions, Chelsea Football Club. On the other side, Liverpool.
See that? Wembley Stadium, Liverpool's training ground on Sunday. We've played them twice, we've drawn twice. But you know what? There's only going to be one winner on Sunday, and it's going to be Liverpool.
But we already know what the answer's really going to be.
Come watch it with us on DR Sports. It's going to be a spicy one.